Hi everyone, welcome to another session of Building Blocks. I'm Judy Brown from the Little Fabric Garden, and today I'm going to take you through the next step of our quilt, which is a strip quilt. Now I'm going to go back a little bit and I'm going to kind of tell you what I started with, just in case you didn't see the first session. And if you didn't, you really need to go back and watch that first section. But I'm just going to kind of review what we did. I started with two of these jelly rolls. The jelly roll is a 2.5-inch strip roll, and I started with two of these with this colorway. And then I also added 6 strips of this fabric because I wanted to have a constant in there. So those are the things that I started with. And then what I did was I sewed strip sets, and I ended up doing 6 strip sets. And after I got the strip set together, then I cut them into 14-inch squares. So I'm just going to fold this because it's approximately 14-inch. And so this is what I did. And then I put one going horizontal, and I took the other one and I turned it vertically, and I sewed 1/4 inch all the way around. Now I know this is a lot to hear right now, but like I said, if you go back and watch the first session, you'll be able to see exactly what I did. And so after I got that done, then I cut it diagonally this way and diagonally this way. And when I was finished with that, I ended up getting 4 of these blocks. So that's where our last session stopped. So this session is going to start with sewing these together. Oh, and by the way, when I got done doing all of these with all of the strip sets, I ended up with 32 of these blocks, and they are now 9.5 inches. So to do the quilt, I'm only going to use 30. So these two are the two that were left over. So I am just going to put these to the side, and then I am going to show you what we're going to do next. So here we have 4. I marked all of the rows so that I would not forget what they were. So I laid them all out going this way. Oh, yeah, there's 5 in a row. And I'm just going to double up on this one over here. But I made sure that these were going, it was like an arrow pointing this way. I wanted them all to go the same direction. All right, now I am going to sew the row together. So I am going to take this first one and I'm going to lay it on top of the second one in the row, and face down. They're going to be right sides together. And then I'm going to put some pins in here, and we are going to go to the machine and we will sew this. All right. So let me move this out of the way so you can see what I'm doing. And here we are, I hope. It's going to be okay. All right, I think I'm set. All right, here we go. Again, it's a 1/4 inch, and I do have a 1/4 inch foot on my my machine, so it really helps me judge, and so that I don't get the seam allowances too small or too big. All right, so I got that sewed. It is like this. This is what it looks like when we get the first 2 sewed. So I'm going to do the same thing right across. I am going to sew one on top of there, one next to the other, and we will continue and we will get the whole row sewed together. All right, so I'm finished sewing and I'm finished pressing, and I did press all of the seams going to one side because this row will go this way, and then when I put it on the next row, it will go the other way, and it just makes it easier making sure that the blocks line up, and you'll be able to see that a little bit later. All right, so we have this row done, and so now we have to sew it to the following row. And I did 6 rows of these, and we are going to put them together. Okay, so here we see that I have 4 of the rows together. I've taken the row that I sewed across and I have put 4 of them together so that you can see how it goes. Now the row that I just did, I will put at the bottom, and I will lay it out the same direction as the other ones. And it will go like this, making sure that the arrow part, I'm going to call it the arrow part, is pointing this way. And again, we are going to take this and we are going to lay it on top, and we will start pinning. And this is important that you pin this because it's a long ways, and plus the fact you've got some other seams in here and you want to make sure that they're going to lay out flat when you sew it. You don't want a big bulge in there, so you have to make sure that you pin it so that it's going to lay down flat. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to pin that, and then you will sew across there at a 1/4 of an inch, just like we've always done, because a 1/4 of an inch is what you do when you're doing quilts. All right, so you go ahead and do that, and then I will show you something about these blocks in just a second. And before we go on any further, I just wanted to show you about these blocks. When I pin them, I always pin where the blocks are going to go together, because I want my blocks to match up. You can see here that they match up, you know, going vertically and horizontally. Now sometimes that doesn't happen, but if you size your blocks to what they're supposed to be, and these were 9.5 inches, if you size them, they should go together pretty well. Now I know that there were a few spots that I did miss and they aren't quite, you know, like matching perfectly, but that's what you try to do. And so I try to match where the blocks meet, and then I go back and I pin in between because I really do like the look of that matching. All right, so when the middle section is finished, you usually put an inside border on it. You don't always have to do it, but I really like to do it, and I'm going to do it with this one. It frames in your middle section, and I really do like the looks of it. So the next step is trying to figure out what I'm going to use for a little inside border to frame it. So I went to, you know, like some fabrics, and I checked to see what, you know, like different colors. So I put the green next to it, and I was like, yeah, okay. Then I put the aqua or the blue or teal, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, that looks kind of nice too. And then I put the purple. Yeah, well, I liked all of those, but then I went for a navy. And I liked the navy because it was pretty much darker than everything else, and it made all of these colors that were in here kind of pop out. So I decided that I was going to go with the navy, and believe me, it took me a long time to figure that out. I had it laying on the floor with all these other colors there, but I really chose to do the navy because I think of what I'm going to end up putting the outside border with, and I think the navy's going to look the best. So anyway, I cut these, I think there's 6 strips, and I cut them at 2 inches. So when it's finished, the inside border is only going to be about 1.5 inches, and it's going to go all the way around, and it's going to frame this very pretty, bright, happy looking inside. And so the next time we're together, you will see what it looks with the inside border, and I will show you what we're going to do for the outside border. So come on back the next time and see how it ends up.